All right, pal. We're back for another episode of the Rehashables Oscar edition. How you doing?
Doing great. This is our second or third one that we've done of these. This is
It may be third, definitely second, but we've
this
done
is I think when we first started, it was around Oscar, so I don't think we did like maybe an all out Oscar episode. But no joke, this is probably my favorite one because it's so in depth, and award season has just been such a blast to watch, and it culminates into Sunday night. So
Yeah, we've been talking about it for the past month and a half, and now that I think of it, we've done 17 episodes, I think, of the Rehashables, so it would make sense that last year was the first official one under the Rehashables podcast. Maybe we talked about it in previous ones, but I've been more focused on it than I was last year or years in the past, so I'm really excited to talk about it with you. Ton of great stuff, ton of great movies, and we'll dig into all of it. Before I get to that, I just want to talk about my new podcast rotation. You may have seen that I changed the name of the feed to Randy Forcier Podcasts, because the Randy Forcier podcast, although it still exists, is going to be a thing I probably do on a monthly basis. And, we're going to mix that in with the Rehashables podcast, which we've been doing once a month. I have the Mortgage Show podcast that I do with Beds once a month, which is great for business stuff. And then me and Chris started doing another sports podcast called The Cheap Seats. So we're going to do it, 4-week rotation. Sometimes might double up, but make it a little bit easier for me to manage, talk about all the things that I love, which is why I like podcasting. So I'm excited about that.
So you have like your own like podcast network that you've like developed.
I'm hesitant to say it's a network, but it is something like that, I guess. When you follow all these podcast networks that we do and you kind of see how they do it, it kind of gives me ideas for how I want to like have different shows that focus on different things. And they're all under one feed right now. So if you just subscribe to the Randy Forcier podcasts feed on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, these podcasts will show up automatically every other week, sometime middle of the week, kind of move away from Mondays. I had those Sunday night scaries where I would have to be worried about editing and making sure everything's all set for Monday morning. So now I'm just going to record during the week, post it on Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm excited about it because that's the thing. I mean, I love talking movies with you, and we talk about sports sometimes. Love talking sports with Beds. The mortgage stuff is fun to get out there for business-wise, and if I can mix in a good interview once a month, meet new people, learn something new, then why not? So I'm excited about it.
Sounds like an awesome plan. I'm fired up to see what 2025 brings. Yeah, your bed stuff is awesome to listen to. I love that, and yeah, and I love the branding too. So of all the different branding that you got going on too. So
trying to mess around with all that stuff. Yeah, me and Beds are going to be doing a Cheap Seats pod next week, and there's a lot of sports stuff to talk about with the way Celtics have been playing.
Yep.
The Red Sox spring training's kicking in. We had All-Star weekend. We got our Biddeford Tiger girls in the state championship this weekend. So we got a lot of sports stuff to talk about. But that's next week. So before we get to the Oscar stuff, I just want to say if you are listening to this on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please follow the podcast. That support would be appreciated too. So that's all I really have to say about that, though. You ready to go, pal?
Ready to dive in. Let's do this.
All right, so we are going to focus on the 6 main categories, the bigger categories of the Oscars. The Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Picture. We're going to use that as the framework to run through all the things that we've seen over the past couple months. Feel free to interject some other categories, but we'll start with that. And man, there's a ton of stuff to discuss. So
there is. But before we even get into the nominees, though, I just want to talk a little bit about the show in general. So it's Sunday night, 8:00. I believe on ABC. Actually, I'm positive it's on ABC, but it's being hosted by someone who we've adored and loved for 25 years. Conan O'Brien, first time hosting the Oscars. I can't wait to see what he does on stage because I think he's a perfect host.
Yeah, he's gonna be fantastic. I can't believe he hasn't hosted before, or has he hosted anything before?
No, he's hosted. Yes, he has hosted the Emmys and the Golden Globes before, and he has crushed it every single time. He's been around for so long. He's such a staple. I mean, he's like Jimmy Kimmel, who's hosted it for many years before. So going from Kimmel to Conan is like such a natural progression. He's so respected in Hollywood. He's been around forever. I'm just excited for his monologue, and I'm excited to just... There's no one better, I think, at thinking on their feet than Conan O'Brien, like being in like awkward situations and just making people laugh. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him. So
he does have some cachet too, because you think Oscars has to be hosted by someone that has a little bit of prestige to him, has a name, and I think he fits that bill. And he's been around before Kimmel. I remember when Matana Lane went to go see him live, and I think he used her comb to comb his hair. His hair is always like a big thing, and I think we had the video back then of him going into the crowd, getting her her brush or comb, making fun of her for what it was, and then used it to fix his hair. So I've loved him since then.
He's been a staple of our lives forever, and I think the last year specifically, I don't know if you remember this, the broadcast was awesome.
Yep.
It flowed so well. There were good bits throughout. It was like 3.5 hours. They tightened it up a little bit because it normally drags on so long. But I feel like they're kind of like maybe finding the formula and getting this down to make it a really like watchable product. So
yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. So we'll see how we go with our predictions. Why don't we jump into Best Supporting Actress? All right. Here's what I want to do. I want to read the nominees, and then I want to talk about what you've seen on this list, and then we'll go from there.
Let's do it.
All right. If you've been enjoying the podcast, I wanted to let you know that I am a residential loan officer with CMG Home Loans. If you or anyone you know is looking to buy a home or refinance, please let me know, and I'd be happy to help. My contact information is in the description below. Back to the podcast.
So I might butcher some of these names, but we have Monica Barbaro from A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande from Wicked, Felicity Jones from The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini from Conclave, and Zoe Saldana from Emilia Perez. So which of these movies have you seen?
So I have seen 4 of them. So the only one I have not seen is A Complete Unknown. It just became available, I think, today. That was like the only one that I wasn't able. There's a couple other Best Pictures, but out of the most categories, the only one I really was able to not see. And the other 4 movies I did, and I really liked them. It's funny, we're going to talk about Best Supporting Actress and Best Supporting Actor soon. These are the 2 biggest runaways. Like, these are the ones that, like, who was predicted to win has basically won every single award season. And looking at their FanDuel odds, like, Zoe Saldana is a shoo-in to win this. With Emilia Perez at minus 1,100. So she's like locked in.
Who is second place?
So second place is my girl, Ariana Grande.
Yeah,
so let's dive in real quick. So Emilia Perez came out, Netflix. I saw that. So this is like probably the most accessible movie because it's on Netflix.
Yep.
It did have a theatrical run. It was so strange because people who've seen this movie, like normal people, not critics, like hated it, like absolutely hated it. And critics like really loved it. It actually dominated at the Golden Globes and other awards. But then as of a couple months ago, there was some major backlash from The Star, who's nominated for Best Actress, we'll get to, but which has completely derailed the Emilia Perez like momentum.
Totally. Her name is Carla Sofia Gascon.
Yes. Yeah, correct. So she's nominated, and we'll get to her in a little bit. But like, there was like Zoe Saldana was dominating, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is this mistake gonna hurt her?" And she distanced herself from it. So she's gonna win. As far as Emilia, we can maybe talk more about the movie specifically when we get to Best Picture. But I will just say, Ariana Grande, incredible in Wicked. Like, so talented. She brought so much to the table. She's so funny. I absolutely love her. She has no chance of winning, but I'm hoping she gets some recognition. So
I will tell you, I have seen part of Wicked. Try to get the girls to watch the whole thing. We've seen, I don't know, a quarter of it, and we'll finish it at some point. You know, I like to watch my movies in pieces, but I mean, good performance so far. It's been interesting to see her transition from musician to, you know, SNL host to now an Oscar-nominated actress. It's quite the transition for her career. So
it's awesome. It's great. So I don't want to like spend too much time on this one because I really want to probably talk about more of the movies when we get to Best Picture at the end, movies as a whole. But she's just great in it. But there's no question Zoe Saldana's gonna win this one. And
so odds-on favorite, won Best Supporting Actress in the BAFTAs, the SAGs, and she won it in Golden Globes.
Yep.
So it's been a clean sweep so far, like you said. And I saw this thing that said SAG Awards since 2000, 75% of SAG winners in the Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, all those categories go on to win. So, I mean, like you said, it's a shoo-in.
It makes sense. The only thing I will say, it's so interesting. So I saw Emilia Perez, and again, I think it got too much hate. It's an okay movie, but with that said, it's probably at the bottom of my list for all of the Best Picture nominees. But Zoe Saldana, she's a star. She was in this movie the most. I don't know how the hell she's a supporting actress.
I don't get that either.
She's not Emilia Perez, who's the other person.
So then maybe that's why. I mean,
maybe that's why. But she starts the movie and ends the movie. It is in the movie 95% of the time, but supporting actress. But hey, good for her. I hope
Yeah.
she wins. I always loved Zoe Saldana. We've been huge fans of her. Guardians, Star Trek, Avatar. She's awesome. So good for her to win this award.
I don't have a list in front of me of biggest female box office actresses, but she has to be in the conversation for the biggest box office. I mean, when you name those franchises, I mean, those are three huge franchises. I mean, Star Trek's not as big, but those movies did pretty well when she was in it. And then those Guardians and Marvel and the Avatar movies are billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the thoughts about Best Supporting Actress with that one. So
all right, lock that up. I'm going to move on to Best Supporting Actor, which again you think is locked up. So I'm going to run through the names. I'm going to butcher them. But Yora Borisov from Anora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Ed Norton in Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. It's a solid group of nominees.
Incredible list, and I've seen 4 of the 5 of these movies too. I've not seen A Complete Unknown with Edward Norton, but Edward Norton's been around forever, so good for him for being nominated. Again, no question that Kieran Culkin is winning this award. Minus 1,800 favorite. He's won every single thing and has been giving incredible speeches at award shows for the last 3 months. And you want to talk about a guy who he won his first Emmy, I think it was a year ago for Succession, and now he's going to be an Academy Award winning actor. He is on a heater that it's incredible. So, yeah.
Who would have thought between him and Macaulay Culkin that he would have this prestigious career that he has, award winning career? It's awesome. He was amazing in Succession. And I have not seen A Real Pain yet, but I mean, you talk about it.
So A Real Pain, and this is probably our only opportunity to talk about this movie, is just an incredible, it's like a good, like old-fashioned 95-minute movie that just revolves around mostly 2 characters, him and Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg, who wrote and directed the movie, was fantastic in this. But Kieran Culkin definitely, like, this is he's not Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, this is like Roman Roy, like maybe a little bit more bipolar version of Roman Roy.
Really? Okay.
That character he plays. You definitely can see Roman in this. So he has...
he's really good at a specific type of character.
Yes. He's good at this like niche, like eccentric, fast-paced talking kind of thing. It's a really great movie. I think you can only get it on iTunes right now. But just a good story. I'm happy he's nominated and he's going to win. And yeah.
What's the 2-sentence version of the story? It's those 2 guys are cousins, right?
Yep. So they're cousins. Their grandmother recently passed away. Their Polish grandmother recently passed away, and she was a Holocaust survivor. And in her will, left them money to visit Poland to see where she grew up and to kind of get a history of the Holocaust and what went down over there. They're one more sentence. They're 2 cousins who were very, very close, who ended up getting more distance between them basically because of the lifestyles and personalities they are, and they explore that relationship, which is incredible. So
I like 95 minutes for a movie.
That's the thing, is there's what movie is 95 minutes. So he's the favorite. I will talk about Anora later. Other 2, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, I just finished last night.
I'm so jealous of you, dude. You spent the 3 hours and change watching that last night?
Over 2 nights.
Right.
And we'll talk about that, and I have so many thoughts about that movie. But Guy Pearce, just a guy that was around for a long time, you know what I mean? At Memento, and just like he did a lot of good stuff. Good to see him back, and he was great in that. And then Jeremy Strong, which is funny because he's plus 2,900, and I have seen The Apprentice, and Jeremy Strong was great in it. But you got 2 Succession guys nominated in this category. So
I'm not surprised. That was such a great series with such great acting. I mean, we'll see guys from that show for years to come in different things, different TV shows, different movies. So,
but if I were to tell you 5 years ago, hey, Kieran Culkin and Jeremy Strong are both nominated,
who's going to win?
Who's going to win?
Yeah,
you would have said Jeremy Strong.
Yeah,
So
Jeremy Strong in the character in The Apprentice looks like a maniac in the trailers. I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's the thing where it's like he's completely different than Kendall. You know what I mean? So like the character he plays in The Apprentice, or like the man he plays in The Apprentice is like that's like a more of a transformation, much different, stuff like that. But yeah, good movie. So
love it. All right, lock it up, Kieran Culkin.
Yep.
I'm going to move on to Best Actress. Right?
Yes.
I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on this. Looking at the nominees: Cynthia Erivo from Wicked.
Yep.
Carla Sofia Gascon from Amelia Perez. Already said her name. Is it Mickey or Mikey Madison?
Mikey Madison.
Mikey Madison. That's what I thought. Demi Moore in The Substance, and then Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Have you seen I'm Still Here?
That's the one out of this category. That's the one I have not seen. That's the Brazilian movie. It is available now to buy on iTunes. I hope I get to watch it before Sunday, because people have said it's great. But so I cannot speak to that. So I will talk to the other four. Okay.
Okay. So before we go through the performances, I just want to run through who won at the other awards.
Yep.
So Best Actress at the Golden Globes was Fernanda Torres.
Yep.
Right. And then Mikey Madison won at the BAFTAs, and then Demi Moore won at the SAG. So it's pretty wide open based on that. And if people are going to put a lot of weight on the SAG Awards and how that translates to Oscars, it could be a good thing for Demi Moore. But what are the odds saying?
So the odds right now is that Demi Moore is the favorite at -240. Okay, with Mikey Madison.
Which is a lot lower odds than the other two.
So the next four categories that we're going to talk about, this is the most like open race there's been in a long time in these big four categories. It could be any, there's multiple options in each of these categories.
Yeah.
So real quick, okay, working backwards as far as odds go. So Cynthia Erivo and Carla Sofia Garçon, both plus 4,200.
Long shots.
Carla, she's shot herself in the foot with those old tweets coming out. Well, well deserved. She's not gonna win. I feel bad for those people and all the things gonna hurt, but like she's not gonna win. Yep. So Wicked, I do want to spend a few minutes on this because Wicked is something that we have on in our house every single day. It's what we listen to every day on the way to school. It's Marin's favorite movie. She dresses up as Elphaba, which is Cynthia Erivo's character, the Wicked Witch, every day. So this movie. We love this movie, and it was awesome. It was a 2.5 hour long movie, and I highly recommend it for anyone that likes musicals. But the one thing I am looking forward to most at the Academy Awards is Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande performing. They're going to be doing a medley of Wicked hits, which is going to be incredible because the music and those two talents are unbelievable. So I just want to give that shout out to Wicked. So
I gotta say, I'm jealous that this is that movie for you guys. Right? We've had movies like that for my girls, where it was the thing that was on every day, the songs, the dress up. Like we're kind of getting past those stages. But I know what you're talking about when a kid latches onto a movie, loves the songs in it, and just it's what they want to watch every day. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm not every time she wants to put it on, I don't ask any questions. So it's a great movie. I'm looking forward to the second one later this year. That's Wicked. I told you about I'm still here. Fernanda Torres is plus 1,600. I haven't seen that. This is a 2-person race between The Substance, Demi Moore from The Substance, and Mikey Madison Nora. I've seen both of these movies. The Substance. Holy smoke. What do you know about The Substance? Like, what do you know? Anything?
So The Substance is something that you take to make you like work out better or look younger. Like what's the substance?
Okay, this movie was something. Let me tell you, this was a horror movie. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It's a long movie. Basically, Demi Moore is an aging star who hosts. It's almost like this movie takes place in like an alternative Los Angeles. Like it's like L.A., but it's like a much weirder kind of like an alternative L.A. And she plays this like 50-year-old like workout TV instructor, almost like a Jane Fonda type. So or basically there's this producer played by Dennis Quaid who's like, she's just getting too old. We need to change it. And it's something that women in Hollywood, women in general in life feel all the time as they're aging. The one thing that is just kind of wild is Demi Moore plays a 50-year-old woman that's aging. In real life, she's 61 years old.
I was going to say she's in her 60s.
She's 61 years old.
She looks great. Yeah.
She looks phenomenal in this movie. And she finds out about this thing called The Substance, which basically is like an injection. It's really, really hard to explain, but almost like a younger, not like a version of like yourself. Like you don't have this, like another person almost comes out of you. And you can, that person, well, then you go to sleep for 7 days, and the younger, prettier, better version of yourself goes and does their thing, and they have to switch back every 7 days. Okay?
Forever?
That's what you're supposed to do. But something happens, and some people want to last a little bit longer, and then, but you're not supposed to break the rules. If you break the rules, things happen. And this is what I'll say. She goes for it in this movie. Yeah. Like, she absolutely like leaves it all out there. she's very vulnerable in this like a lot, like shows herself a lot, like very vulnerable situations that she leaves herself in. So I can definitely see her winning. Now, switching over to Honora, I freaking love this movie. So this is one of the top 3 favorite movies that I watched, and Mikey Madison is so damn good in this movie. Do you know anything about Honora?
I do, but I want to hear your version after. But I mean, my understanding is she falls in love with a Russian heir to a fortune, and then there's families don't want that to happen, and they kind of run off and all that stuff. So I mean, I watched the trailer a bunch of times, and I've almost pulled the trigger on buying it. Just haven't had a chance to actually sit down and watch it. But it's cool to hear that her performance is fantastic.
So she's incredible in this, and she plays this like New York, Staten Island. Her accent is great. She is such a firecracker and like brings so much energy to this role. Like you believe it, and like after watching these 2 movies, this is gonna like suck. I'm picking Mikey Madison to win.
Really?
This. But like I'm conflicted because it's almost like the Sylvester Stallone, Michael Keaton thing from a few years ago, where Demi Moore has like been around for so long. This is her this is her shot to win an Academy Award. So if she wins, I'm gonna be so happy for her and that kind of stuff. I liked Mikey Madison's performance more. I just don't know if I can see Mikey Madison's name getting called and then see Demi Moore's face. I would be heartbroken to see that. So it's
nice that she won the SAG award. That was a moment for her. I got a chance to watch her speech, and she's had some recognition through this award season, and obviously being nominated is an honor in its own. But yeah, it does seem like if she won, it would be a lifetime achievement type thing. And I don't know how the Hollywood Foreign Press feels about that sort of stuff. I don't they seem to like that sort of thing?
They normally do, but again, you look back at Sylvester Stallone for Creed a few years ago, Michael Keaton for Birdman a few years ago, kind of got his shot too. So they don't always go that route.
Who got it over Sylvester Stallone?
Was it Eddie Raymond? I don't remember. I don't remember who it was, but
he was obviously calling for our guy Sly. Yeah, but it's that same kind of situation potentially.
Yeah. So, but hey. Plus 185 might put to pull the trigger on Mikey Madison a little bit and try to win some plus money. But it'll be interesting to see if she wins, if that will mean more for Honora going forward for other things. So,
yeah, absolutely. I do want to see Honora and The Substance, so I obviously haven't gotten a chance to look at it yet. But
The Substance is a horror movie, so I'm so pumped that is getting recognized and it's got for Best Picture. But man, I'm telling you, this is a body horror movie. Like. They go all out with it's gross. It's very gross.
So I have a question for you. Do you think, certain movies, they know that it's going to be in consideration for award season when the time comes? Is this a movie that was made and then it worked out a certain way that it got injected into that conversation? Or is this like a prestige movie from day one?
I think the former. I think it was a movie that was made that got so much momentum by how it was that it kind of just ended up spiraling. I don't think this was definitely not made to be an award-winning movie.
Yeah, to hear it positioned as more of a horror movie, that doesn't happen often.
No,
it probably happens maybe more times than I can remember, but I just can't think of any other times. And a true horror movie.
And she did not get nominated for Best Supporting Actress, but shout out to Margaret Qualley, who we were on board with back when she got her start in The Leftovers, when she was the daughter in The Leftovers, before she really became famous. But this year, she's become a star, so she's now like a legitimate movie star who will be in big movies for a long time. She's incredible in this movie too. So
love it. Okay, so Mikey Madison is your pick. Love it. Moving on to Best Actor. Some people's names that I should actually be able to pronounce. Adrian Brody from The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet from A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo from Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes from Conclave, and then Sebastian Stan from The Apprentice. Another solid crew of nominees. Who's the odds-on favorite?
Odds-on favorite is Adrian Brody, at -210.
So he won the Golden Globe, he won BAFTAs. Timothée Chalamet won at the SAGs this past weekend. Did you see his speech?
I did see his speech.
Did you hear about his speech?
I did see it. I watched a lot of the SAG speeches afterwards, and that was one of them. It was awesome. And he's like, I
thought it was fine. I saw some articles the next day, like it was controversial or uncomfortable or weird. But I mean, I think
Dude, have confidence in yourself. That's confidence. You know, I want to be. What is wrong with saying I want to be great? I want greatness like that.
He wants to be one of the all-time greats. That's what he said in his speech, and I didn't think it came across as weird. I mean, it's nice to hear someone verbalize what it is that they want, because all those people there want to be one of the all-time greats. You know, like. And, you know, he was honored to be there, shot out his mom, and then he said he wanted to be one of the all-time greats. So
yeah, and he even said, he's like, I'm not saying I am there. I want to be there. He said that at the end of the speech or whatever. And, like, good for him. I mean, if Tom Brady said that, like, in year 2, you know what I mean? People would be like, yeah, that's the attitude to have.
I mean, he probably did say that in year 2. I just don't remember.
Actually, I think he said that when Robert Kraft drafted him.
So, it's like, this is the best decision your franchise ever made. It was absolutely right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, and Chalamet's, he's been on a heater. So keep going. Yeah.
So, okay, then let's just focus on Chalamet for a second. So, anyways, you've seen The Brutalist, haven't seen Complete Unknown. We've already talked about that. Haven't seen Sing Sing, I assume?
No, that's a movie I know I'm going to love. And it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, so I didn't get it. That wasn't, like, high on my...
Yeah, you're trying to focus on those.
I was trying to focus as much on the Best Pictures as possible. But Coleman Domingo's been around for a while. Such a lovable guy. And that movie I know is right up my alley. So I can't wait to see it.
So I've seen Conclave, so I can actually comment on one for once. And then The Apprentice. So has there been some momentum for Timothée Chalamet, though? Because it does seem like Adrian Brody is the favorite. Like you said, what is it? What are his odds again?
It's minus 210, which is surprising.
And what's Chalamet?
Plus 150.
Okay, so that's 1-2, I assume?
Yeah, 1-2. Ralph Fiennes. And then it's like Ralph Fiennes plus 2,100. So it's a two-person race.
Yeah.
For
Sebastian Stan and Coleman Domingo, what, like plus 4,500 or something?
He's Sebastian Stan's plus 4,200 and Coleman Domingo's plus 6,000. So like, it's
a two-person race. But has Timothée Chalamet been getting some momentum? Right? Like, I don't know.
I have not seen A Complete Unknown.
Yeah,
but Chalamet, he's having a moment this year. You know what I mean? Like he's now like Leo. You know, I think he's now being catapulted into that kind of character, like that kind of actor. I mean, with Dune 2, which we will absolutely talk about during Best Picture and all that kind of stuff. To have that kind of movie and then to have A Complete Unknown, then to see like his press tour, that like viral videos of him like on College Game Day, like being a
he's good. He's good.
He's likable. He's awesome. Yeah. He's very.
He's great on Saturday Night Live.
Great on SNL. He does some crazy stuff on SNL. He's, dating Kendall Jenner or whatever. He's having a moment. Kylie or Kendall, I don't know.
Yeah, one of the Jenners.
One of the Jenner girls or whatever. So he's having a moment. He's having momentum. So that's about Chalamet. Go. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, or?
No, I mean, I was just going to comment, like, he does feel like the new actor of our times. You know, like you said, just piggyback on that Leo thought real quick, because it does feel like there's an big-time actor shortage, right? Like, who...
Especially American actors.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is freaking British nowadays. It's crazy. But if you think to, like, if you're growing up, or 15, 20 years ago, it's like, who are the biggest actors in the world? It's the Tom Cruises and the Brad Pitts and, Tom Hanks and things like that. And there just isn't a lot of American guys. So he's certainly the face of American actors in movies, at least right now. So it's cool to see. What were you going to go to next? Adrian Brody?
Adrian Brody. So this is where I'll dive in. I watched The Brutalist last night.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love this movie. Like I absolutely love this movie. Like 3 hours and 20 minutes. It could have been 5 hours and 20 minutes, and I would have watched it. I did not look at my phone one time. There's a clear intermission in the middle of it, so it's like a very much broken into two sections. He's incredible in this movie. Like
he's a good actor,
but and this is where it's going to get tricky. He's already an Academy Award winning actor. He won for The Pianist 12 years ago or whatever. I think maybe even longer than that. Actually, for not like a crazy not similar character than what he plays in The Brutalist. He's incredible. He's back. Like this is his second round now of him coming back. He's incredible in this movie. So I wouldn't, obviously he's the odds-on favorite. He's dominated. I would be thrilled if he won this movie. Yeah. With that being said, I pick Chalamet to win.
Like it. Well, hey, getting back to what I said before, if you win the SAGs, that's a 75% indicator of winning the Best Actor or Best Actress award. So that would kind of fall in line with that. So I like the call. I will say, we've talked a lot about watching these movies over the past couple months. I was constantly in my iTunes trying to find like when these movies were going to be available. Like Brutalist only was available last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was on vacation last week and here we are recording the pod, it's like there just wasn't enough time. But when I would look at all of the trailers for all of these Best Picture movies, like I was drawn to The Brutalist. Like I think it looks awesome. Do you mind just sharing like a couple sentences again about what it's about? It's someone coming over to America, you know.
It's incredible. So it takes place mostly between 1947 and 1960. This Hungarian immigrant leaving war-torn like Hungary. He went to like concentration camps and comes to America and ends up finding his way towards Philadelphia and becomes working. And he is a very like prominent architect in Hungary and has did some really, really cool buildings. The type of architecture is brutalist architecture, which I know nothing about with stuff. And he ends up becoming Guy Pearce, who plays this very rich, American made man who has a huge loves architecture and basically wants to have Adrian Brody build something on his property. But it's I mean, that in itself does not sound interesting. Like, that's not like an interesting, like, I probably know a good subplot of explaining it. But
you watch the trailer, there's trials and tribulations and things don't probably go as expected.
Yes.
And I thought it was a great trailer and I thought the movie looks awesome. And hearing you talk about that, I'll be interested to have that Best Picture conversation in a second, but it sounds like it's worth checking out for sure.
It's incredible. I mean, Heather, she's a good barometer. She likes to watch a lot of these movies with me. Was locked in with it, like loved this movie. So it's just a good you like to say that as an example because she doesn't always doesn't read the movie stuff. Isn't like a huge cinephile, and she loved this movie. That just shows how it's filmed and how they develop the characters is just it keeps your attention the entire time. Do not be intimidated by the 3 hour and 20-minute runtime.
That is intimidating.
It is.
That is intimidating. When you look at how long a movie is, we talked about loving a 95-minute movie, and this one's 180 something.
So you have to go into it just knowing you're going to watch it in 2 days, probably. Yeah. And there is that clear intermission. It's very broken up in sense. So
this one might be a week-long journey for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
But
so yeah.
Okay. We'll get back to the Brutalist then.
But the only so again, Adrian Brody won already.
Yeah.
Will the Academy want to anoint the next movie star with Chalamet?
Why not?
Or do they want him? This is his second nomination. I think he was nominated maybe for Little Woman as supporting actor. You know what I mean? So sometimes Leo took him 4 times before he won. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see which way it'll go.
So before we move on to Best Director, Ralph Fiennes' performance in Conclave. What do you think? I thought it was great. I mean, I enjoyed Conclave, and we can talk more about that afterwards. Up until the end, we'll get to that. But I thought his performance was awesome.
He's incredible. He's incredible. He's just an awesome. He's a guy that's been around forever. Obviously with Voldemort, and he's in I think The English Patient back in the day. So he's been around forever. I don't think he's ever won, but he was great in that movie. He was the whole cast, and we'll get to that. Cast just won an award too. So the whole cast is incredible in that movie.
A lot of great. Yeah, we'll get to that at the Best Picture time. But I thought the cast was awesome, and I thought his performance was good. Again, I would have voted for him for Pope, and that was great. So
yeah, we'll get to that whole thing shortly about that. Yeah.
So Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. What do you think? Because at first, if you're just Sebastian Stan's playing Donald Trump, I'm I don't see it. But you watch the trailer and it's okay, but how was it watching that movie and seeing his performance?
It was awesome. He's great. That's a very fast paced, over the top movie. But I thought he nailed it. And I think so. There was another movie that came out this year called A Different Man that Sebastian Stan was in. So he had 2 that people were thinking he actually should have been nominated in the Academy Award, but under that movie than this movie. So he's just a guy, one of the few people from MCU that has really gone out and branched out and had a very successful acting career and can play these different roles. And it kind of gets back to the Chalamet thing. Almost bring it back, but what's harder? Imitating someone like Sebastian Stan that has all this tape on Donald Trump and watching him and his stuff, and same thing with Chalamet with Dylan, or is it something like Adrian Brody, where you're a complete own character, completely doing your own thing, you don't have source material, and that kind of stuff. So
I think it's harder to mimic someone, but I mean it's I mean it's not. This isn't a difficulty thing. I mean I don't know. Maybe the voters do weigh the difficulty of imitating someone. I would think imitating Donald Trump is especially hard, just because you're trying to border I mean, you see the SNL stuff, and it's
Yeah,
like you try
yes.
to blur on it becoming a joke or a
Yeah.
parody or something, which is what I thought this movie was. You know, like at first when The Apprentice came out, like I heard they were making it, I'm like, is this like a shit all over Donald Trump movie? Like kind of gonna be a joke, and it's turned into be this award worthy type movie, at least the actors and actresses. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough role to play for him. It sounds like he did a good job.
There were moments. There were definitely like times where I wouldn't see him the entire time. But basically the movie, the premise is basically the evolution of Donald Trump up until like 1988, maybe 1990 or whatever. So it's really more like the 70s of how he became like a real estate mogul. I mean, I'll say, listen, this does not paint Donald Trump in a good light, and that was one of the controversy. No one would pick up this movie. This movie wouldn't go out to movie theaters because everyone was afraid of it. But as take the political, all that stuff aside, this was a very good movie. And Sebastian Stan, there were moments. One part in particular, he's being interviewed by the woman playing Barbara Walters, and I'm like, am I watching this Donald Trump? Like he had it down. It was really, really, really good. So I'm happy he's nominated. It's good to have a movie star like Sebastian Stan like there and nominated. So
Sebastian Star. I'm sad that I have to ask this. Is he British?
No, no, I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
Anyone could be British.
Honestly, yes. I don't. And this could be.
There is no actor that I wouldn't be surprised if you heard him talk in a real interview. They had a British accent. I'd be like,
I mean, yeah, no, he's American.
There you go. Sebastian Stan, Timothée Chalamet, they're the new movie star Avengers.
So this is like four Americans in this movie, in this nomination. So
wait, which one's the American? Is Adrian Brody American?
Adrian Brody's American.
So Ralph Fiennes is
Ralph Fiennes is the only British guy. Coleman Domingo American. Yeah. So
love it. Okay, so you're going with Chalamet.
Love Chalamet.
I tell you, I think the indicators are there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Best director. I'd be interested in your thoughts on this because it's the same movies that we've been talking about. I don't know how much you want to dig into the movies. Maybe when it comes to best director, talk about the odds, and we can spend more time on best picture going through each one of those. But so best picture, best director, Sean Baker and Nora, Brady Corbet with the Brutalist.
Yep,
I like that, nailed it. James Mangold, The Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard, Amelia Perez, and Coralie Farguiet, The Substance.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So I have seen like four. I said four of these. It's a 2-person race.
Who's the favorites?
Sean Baker is the favorite at -195. Brady Corbet is second with +145, and then Amelia Perez is at +2300. The Substance +2900, and Mangold in at +2900. So it's again probably a 2-person race. If we would have had this conversation on Thursday of last week, or even Sunday of last week, I would have said Sean Baker for sure. But how the Brutalist is filmed, and I was just talking about the filming of it. It is, and I don't want to get like the too technical stuff, but it is so beautifully shot, as is Anora. And I freaking loved Anora. So it's so hard. It's like 1A, 1B. But man, there's such like, you and I are big fans of like long takes. There are some long takes in the Brutalist that are just jaw-droppingly beautiful, and everything was done. Yeah, go ahead.
Brian. He won it in the Golden Globes and the BAFTAs. So
I don't think Sean Baker's won that category yet, but yet he's the favorite, so, which is shocking. So maybe he's the FanDuel favorite.
Yeah. Well, the way you described it, like that sounds like you win the other awards, and the way you described everything, it sounds like he's probably the guy for this award.
I'd say I picked Brady Corbet. Yeah, I did. So Sean Baker, but if Sean Baker wins, I'd be so happy for either of them. And the woman, Coralie Farguiet, or whatever, for The Substance, whatever, she's great. Good for her. She made this movie intentionally, like with like something, a message to put out there, and I'm happy that she got nominated. So
yeah, I'm sure
The Substance is a beautifully shot like movie too. So yeah. Anyway, that's that one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought of the best director being different from the best picture in terms of like the one, or do you see a lot of alignment in the best picture and the best director award?
No, I mean last year. Okay, so we got to talk about one snub here. This is, I think, a good opportunity to get one snub, because last year Christopher Nolan won for Oppenheimer, and then Oppenheimer won. Oppenheimer was a juggernaut. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like over the years, like best director, best Picture. Sometimes they like to split it, but I would say more often than not, who wins Best Director typically wins Best Picture. The fact that Denis Villeneuve for Dune 2 was not nominated for this.
Not nominated. That movie was freaking awesome.
So we can get into it here or whatever. But
you want to do Best Picture now?
Yeah, let's get into the Best Picture. But Denis Villeneuve should have been nominated for Best Director.
His movies are all awesome. They're shot awesome, great stories, great movies. He's one of the best directors.
100%.
I put him in the Christopher Nolan category in the sense that the new Denis Villeneuve movie's coming out. Like, I will go see that regardless of what it is. It happens to be Dune movies, which I loved. But, I would go see anything that guy makes at this point. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I wonder why that is.
So, yeah, anyway. So that's that. So we can dump into Best Picture now, if you want.
Okay, Best Picture. Going to say the names again. Movies we've been talking about, but they did expand to 10 pictures a number of years ago. So it's a little bigger field than it used to be in the past. So, Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. So who's the favorite?
So the favorite is Anora at minus 200.
Yep.
Second favorite is Conclave with plus 240.
That's interesting. Okay.
It is. And then third is The Brutalist at plus 700.
Okay.
Then it drops off quite a bit.
So Best Picture in the Golden Globes is The Brutalist.
Well, there's two categories for that one, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They do break it down between drama and musical comedy. So musical comedy for the Golden Globes is Amelia Perez.
Yep. Which is that stands
I don't think that stands a chance. So maybe The Brutalist winning that is an indicator of something. Best Picture for BAFTAs is Conclave, and then SAGs doesn't do Best Picture, it does Best Ensemble, which also was Conclave. So that's probably why they're the second favorite. But I'm surprised, dude. Want to talk about Conclave?
Well, yeah, let's talk about Conclave, because it's so funny that it's second best odds. It is like getting this momentum now. Like poor Pope Francis is sick right now. It's like you know what I mean? Like that's like, people are talking about, is there going to be a Conclave coming?
God would hate for him to pass away.
Yeah, you don't want to, of course. You know what I mean?
Conclave wins, their odds go up if he passes away in the next couple of days.
Marketing there is just crazy. But we haven't talked about that movie in a shot of winning at all. Is there's no shot of any of the other awards yet. It's got a legitimate shot at winning Best Picture.
Okay, so watching all the movies, figuring out which ones I'm going to see before the award season came. Conclave just happened to be available. Yeah. I think it was available on
Peacock.
What was it on?
Peacock.
Yeah, so I subscribed to that, so it was very easy to watch. I didn't have to spend $20 to watch it. I was drawn to that subject matter, the idea of picking a new pope in Vatican City. I've been there before. It's freaking incredible. I'm I need to watch this movie. And for 90% of the movie, I thought it was awesome. I loved every second of it. And then the ending ended up being a little bit controversial. What were your thoughts on it?
I completely agree. So I don't know. Are we getting to spoiler territory or no? I
don't think we should.
What?
I don't think we should full-blown spoil it, but we could just say, the ending has a twist, and I just don't think it landed.
It didn't land at all. And for me, the thing is, it didn't land at all, but not for, the reason why, you think I'm thinking. You know what I mean? There's, a step before that why I didn't land. You know what I mean? There was almost, two twists, and it lost me after the first twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, the first and second twists are very connected, but yeah, the first.
Yeah.
The way things went down, it was just strange. But up until that point, it was great because it has a great cast. So, Lithgow.
Yeah.
And what's the other guy? Why can't I think of his name?
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, Tucci.
Yeah.
He's above that guy, but there's other that guy.
Yeah, some other people recognizable. It was great, but it was you felt like you were at the Vatican. It looked like their wardrobe, what they were wearing. And that's going to be something interesting too. Is watch, and this is what kind of always is, watch the other awards earlier in the night, costume design and all set design and all that kind of stuff. If you start seeing Conclave taking those smaller awards, don't be shocked if it ends up taking it home. But yeah, I
would love to know how they filmed that movie because I thought. I mean, were they not in Vatican City when they filmed it? It felt like you were there.
Yes.
It was very cool. And that whole process of selecting a pope and just the tradition behind it and just you had a chance to see some of the behind the scenes politicking. And honestly, I have no idea how realistic or not realistic that is, but there's definitely a lot of moving parts, and people are positioning themselves, and there's factions within the different, cardinals or whatever. So,
and it sucks because like you said, 90% of the movie I was all in, and then now on my list, it's my second least favorite movie. So probably like Amelia Perez, which again I didn't hate, but like Amelia Perez and then Conclave are the bottom two because the ending just missed so much for me. So I just would be bummed if it won. So.
But wow, and here we are. It's the second favorite. So okay, I'm going to ask you about a few other ones.
Yep.
Some other bottom ones on the list. Nickel Boys. I don't even know what that is.
So
what do you know?
Oh yeah, I know what it is, and I'll be watching that before Sunday as well. Couldn't get because Nickel Boys and A Complete Unknown. I think Nickel Boys came out last week. I just with Brutalist and Anora took precedent over it. So I will be watching Nickel Boys because that's potential of like one of those like smaller movies, kind of like last year how I said I love like Past Lives or A Stranger Among Us or All of Us Strangers. I mean, that I think could be that movie. I think I would love Nickel Boys. So, and then I'm Still Here, and then
what's I'm Still Here?
I'm Still Here is that Brazilian movie.
Yeah.
The one about like the revolution in Brazil, which I would like to see too. But like I'm Still Here is plus 10,000. Nickel Boys, yeah, all. So Nickel Boys, Dune, The Substance, and I'm Still Here are all plus 10,000. So
imagine if Dune 2 won Best Picture out of freaking nowhere.
Want to get in the conversation because it should win Best Picture. Like
it was awesome.
It's crazy. Like this is where like it kind of like loses. Like it came out in January or whatever last year, so it seems like a lifetime ago. You know what I mean? But if that was my favorite movie of 2024. I loved it, and I loved Brutalist, Anora. Dune 2 was incredible.
Yeah, the world building of Dune. It's tough because it's an existing property. It's a sci-fi movie, but like the world building, the story, the actresses' performances, the set, like the drama. It's a freaking great movie. I would love for people to take a serious look at it. I'm glad it was nominated, but again, it's not a realistic winner, unfortunately.
So I guess people are like, is this like the Lord of the Rings route where it's like Two Towers was absolutely incredible, you know what I mean? But they waited for Return of the King, aka Dune the Messiah, to like praise it as they should.
Yeah.
Because what?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just the way sometimes how award shows go, where they, Emmys wait till the final season to, finally give a TV show the recognition, and maybe they do that when they know it's a planned trilogy in a movie like this. But is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King the last time a movie like this had won Best Picture? Right? Like, obviously, there's nothing similar outside of the fact that it's not just a regular drama. It's a.
I mean, Return of the King won 11 Academy Awards, like dominated that year, like absolutely.
That was like 20 years ago.
That's 2004. You know what I mean? So like, as far as like a property kind of thing, it was probably the last. There's been some like other like bigger like Oppenheimer was a juggernaut. You know what I mean? Too last year, I think second behind Barbie, but it was awesome, and it should be nominated. Denis Villeneuve should have been nominated for that. So I'm hoping they're only like, hey, we're gonna wait for Messiah and then give it the praise it needs. Right. I guarantee you, Messiah will not be coming out in January or February. I can say that much. It'll be coming out end of the year when it's ready. So
yeah, which I think they are into filming right now or starting.
The script is supposedly finished writing it. So
I can't wait for that. Okay, so would love to see that out of nowhere. Would be like unprecedented probably for it to win, at least with the odds it has. All right, Complete Unknown. We already taled about this. We haven't seen it. I'm not a huge Bob Dylan guy.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was like, man, I freaking love Bob Dylan. Yeah. So like, I'm dying to see this. Like, I would want to see it because it's nominated for all these awards because of Timothée Chalamet, not necessarily because of Bob Dylan. But I expect you'll see it soon.
I'm hoping to see it this week too. I got like 5 nights until the Academy Awards. So I'm hoping to. I think Nickel Boys will jump ahead of that, and I think maybe I really want to see Sing Sing too, which I know is not Best Picture, but like we'll see. Mm-hmm. I should watch Complete Unknown because of Chalamet. So I'll try to get that done on Friday. So
we've already talked about The Substance, so that really leaves like The Brutalist, Ian Anora, and Wicked. So where does Wicked fit?
Wicked's freaking awesome too. Like all those people, like I know people are like, oh, like it's not like Wicked is fantastic movie. It's so good. It's so like the music's great in it. The design is great. The director, he did a great job too, and brought a lot of joy to people. It was a great movie, so I'm happy that it was nominated. So
I had no awareness that this was a play.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around for a while.
Dina Menzel really got her catapult.
I also did not know that till 5 seconds ago when you said it. Wow, that's incredible. But it was not a thing for me. I thought they were just doing a prequel like plenty of properties do, but I did not realize it was based on a play. So what were your thoughts on the expanding universe of Oz?
I am weirdly invested into this expanding universe of The Wizard of Oz. I never thought it would say that.
Is this going to be a thing? Obviously, there's another part to do, but is this like a franchise now?
Well, first off, and I'm thinking because this is an NBC movie, so NBC Universal movie, and I'm like, how is Universal not all over this at the parks? You know what I mean? Like, this should be at all the parks. I feel like they should be, because like little kids, little girls, and this like movie speaks to them in such a way. And like the world that they build, but like I'm invested in knowing more about like where the wizard came from, more about like Munchkin politics, stuff. I want to know about like the class of society, and like the whole thing. So Wizard of Oz was what, 1934 or 1932? I don't know where it came out, but like for almost 100 years, the witch was wicked. Witch was terrible. She's bad, a villain.
Huh?
And now it's like, like we're told a lie, and she's like, so it's like, how I'm anxious to see in the second one, which is like Wicked for Good, I think is what it's called. How do they do that? How do they make her the villain? So
who wrote Wicked, and what is their relationship with the Wizard of Oz?
I don't
who owns the Wizard of Oz, and who's the person that just is allowed to make a prequel and tie it all together?
Yeah,
or if that even matters. It might not matter. It matters to me as someone that likes that sort of stuff and seeing the continuity between movies. But like, do you know anything about that?
Like what? No, but I don't know anything about it. But someone watched the Wizard of Oz and was like, you know what? I'm gonna have Glinda and the Wicked Witch. I'm gonna have them go to school together. And I'm gonna have them like be friends and stuff. And like, you don't think of that when you're watching The Wizard of Oz. And there's this whole complicated backstory, where like I'm watching it, and like this isn't like a spoiler, but like the Wicked Witch's like sister is in it, and she's like in a wheelchair. Well, in Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's house falls on her sister. You know what I mean? And like, so like, how does that connect and stuff? And it's just it's a like. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So
love it. I heard the last 20 minutes of it was really good.
Defying Gravity. Since I don't know if you know any songs from.
I have no idea what that is.
Called Defying Gravity. So you're gonna want. I cannot wait for someone who has not seen the movie, to watch the performance on Sunday night and see if it like moves you. Like, because I have super high expectations for this presentation. This is like. Huge expectations for them performing this, because they're doing a medley of it. Defying Gravity is legit. Like, that is a legit song. Like, incredible. So
I look forward to it. So that really leaves us with The Brutalist versus Nora. We've talked about those movies. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to your commentary about those two, but it sounds like that's really what it's going to come down to.
And but mine is, so for me, all right, Dune is number one for me for favorite movies of the year.
I freaking love that.
Crazy. I'm not backing off that. Movie was incredible. The second those guys were flying up 5 minutes into the movie, where they're floating, my heart dropped when that happened. I'm like, I don't even know how this is happening. Anyway, that movie's incredible. And shout out to Chalamet. Good for him again for being in that.
2 movies.
Going into yesterday, I thought for sure I was gonna pick Nora, and like, I loved Nora, and this is a 1A 1B. But I'm going with The Brutalist. I think it's going to be director and best picture. And if Nora wins, I will be so happy and ecstatic for them, thrilled. That would be. They're almost more like the Cinderella story, but I'm picking The Brutalist.
I love it, dude.
If Conclave wins, I'll be sad. I'll be happy for Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow, but
not Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes. He's British. So I'm just kidding. Of course, I love Ralph Fiennes.
Not the Cardinal from Cabal. You won't be happy for him.
It literally makes no sense.
So, dude, I love it. I mean, that would be awesome. That would be best case scenario. So,
if you can somehow, which you probably can't, but if you could somehow watch Nora and The Brutalist before Sunday, I think you would be happy.
I mean, I thought you were just going to say one of those things, and then I'd be like, okay, maybe. But
Tara would like Nora. Tara, like, you talked really a lot about Nora. The first hour of Nora is like you're on like, it's like so like energy and like go and exciting, and then it pivots and like it's like a thriller kind of movie. I would love an horror.
Ellie stays up until 9:30 nowadays, and I want to go to bed at like 9:47. So I have like a 16-minute window, 17-minute window to watch something. I want to watch those movies.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But
I'm taking Aubrey to the Bruins on Thursday too, so that does not help. And then we're going skiing on Friday and Saturday.
There's no way now. There's no way now. Unless you are in the back of the car on an iPad.
Hey, you might have to see this research for the podcast.
You got to do it for the pod. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm picking the Brutalist again. So what if I parlay here the Brutalist with with Best Director? I can get that's pretty pretty good odds there. Because the Brutalist plus 700. So that makes me think it's not going to win, and I'm going to be wrong. So
okay,
that's
interesting. I'm trying to see, there's no real correlation between the other awards and stuff. So, dude, go Brutalist, go and Brady Corbet. What do you get?
Yeah, you can't parlay it, unfortunately.
Oh, you can't.
You can't, which is crazy. You can't parlay. Looks like you can't parlay any of the awards, but it's all like standalone. But anyway, so there's.
All right, dude. I had a freaking blast just talking about all those things. So now I'm fired up for the Oscars. I hope anyone that listens to it before the show really enjoys those thoughts and gives them a little bit of insight into things at a time. Anything else you want to add?
Only thing I wanted to add, and I fortunately did not get a chance to watch as much as I want, but Best Animated Feature, one of the best movies I've watched all year long was The Wild Robot. I loved this movie. Brought me to tears. The music, the story, I very much could make the argument where it should be nominated for Best Picture. It's incredible. I hope it wins. It's going against this other movie, Flow, which looks amazing. It's like I don't know if you saw the trailer for that one, like a weird animation cat movie, and then Inside Out 2. But Wild Robot is the odds-on favorite to win. I hope it wins. It's an awesome story, and it is streaming on Peacock. It's one of the few movies
you can have a subscription. And it's not long.
It's an hour and 45, I think, or so.
Because we looked at it, we started to watch it. Ellie is also in this spot where she heard the movie sad and heard people cry.
Yes.
And she doesn't like sad movies. She doesn't like sad songs. We hear songs on the radio. She's like, that song's too sad. So anyways.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It sounds awesome. Everyone that's watched it loved it. Anyone that kids, family, people love that movie. So God, I feel like it's a shoo-in for that category.
Flow won though at the other few things. So it's
did it?
Yeah, and I think it's only a plus 240 odds. So there's definitely it's not like positive.
Well, Wild Robot certainly feels like a movie that's had impact on people in the past year.
Yeah.
You've heard people talk about it as opposed to I haven't heard anyone talk about Flow, although I've seen it in the Apple Store as a movie that's.
It looks like it's a two-person. Yeah, it's between Wild Robot and Flow. I mean, Inside Out is plus 2,300.
Yeah. Which was a huge movie, like a box office success.
Which was awesome. I don't know if it won the first, because the first one was incredible. Have you and the girls seen Inside Out too?
The girls have.
That's awesome.
It's not the type of movie that they would want to. They just haven't wanted to watch it again, but they've seen it.
Aubrey's the same age as the girl in the.
I don't know that she's seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to move on from the Oscars real quick because we're coming in an hour. Awesome podcast. Is there anything you want to comment on that you have seen or you're watching, or do you want to save it for the next podcast?
We save it for the next pod because we're going to be talking about Severance, which I'm behind one. I'm going to be behind 2 this week. And I suppose I heard this episode is 7 this week.
Yeah, how many do they have? 8 or 10?
I don't know, but I heard 7 is incredible. So this is going to be the week. So we'll be caught up on Severance, which is incredible. I don't want to spend too much time about that because people.
I'm just putting it out there. When Severance is done, I would like to record a Severance podcast that is outside of this normal rotation that we've been talking about because I feel like it deserves it. It's one of those shows that's top tier for me. Yeah, and certainly in that top 10 list. And I think this season's been awesome. So definitely watching it. Definitely plan to talk about that in a few weeks when it's done.
No question. That other thing, White Lotus is back. I will be definitely jumping on to White Lotus once the Academy Award are done.
Love White Lotus.
White Lotus is awesome. So people are loving that. Invincible is back. I love the Invincible. Season 3, getting great reviews on Amazon Prime. And then a few other short things. This is like for me, but there's this awesome Planet Earth style show on NBC that just came out called The Americas, narrated by Tom Hanks. If you love I have been doing video stuff for. I have no idea how the hell they film those shows, how they get the footage that they get. It's insane.
I haven't seen any footage from it, but I've seen it as a thing that shows up on TV
I watched the first episode last night, and then the last thing coming out March 3rd, which I'm sure you're going to be talking to Beds about, but the 9-part Celtics documentary coming to just dropped from the sky from our guy Bill Simmons out of nowhere, a 9-part Celtics documentary. So
that trailer looks so good.
It's
so
gonna be epic. So
we can definitely talk about that too. I will say one other thing that I've been watching is a show called Day Zero, Robert De Niro on Netflix.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm talking about?
He plays a twin. The one plays.
No, you're thinking of something else. He plays a former president.
Okay.
Aging former president. There's a cyber attack and chaos ensues. Kind of reminds me of like 24-ish, although like nothing close format wise, but just the whole counterterrorism kind of thing. And I'm an episode into that, just kind of casually watching it. It's been pretty good so far.
Awesome.
We can talk about that when the time comes. But
the other one that's on my radar, have you heard of The Pit?
I have.
So Noah Wiley medical drama show on HBO. I think it's actually, you said 24. I think every episode is 1 hour in the emergency room or whatever at the hospital.
Interesting. Love it.
I've heard it's like unbelievable. So
I've been seeing it a lot on Threads lately. So a lot of the Pit talk in my feed for whatever reason. So then I also want to watch Landman with our boy John Hamm. I don't know when it's going to happen, but there's certainly a whole bunch of things on my radar.
Yeah, exactly. So buying these movies is getting expensive because you can't like
$500 budget for all these things.
I know. That's for research right off. So
all right, buddy. Well, hey, that's great talk, pal. Appreciate all the info you shared. Look forward to seeing the awards this weekend and then do another pod in the next few weeks.
All right, bud. Thanks so much.